Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy Sunday. It's day 17 of the lockdown in South Africa, and welcome to the CuppaChino Club's social TV channel. We inspire change through conversation, and the coronavirus effects is certainly something we need to have a conversation about. We've been doing that just about every single day so far. So, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Brigitte Limbanda from Cape Town in South Africa, and with me is my amazing co host, Viola Manuel. Viola, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brigitte. How was your day today? Day 17, nice, quiet Sunday on my side. Nice cold weather in Cape Town, so it was a good lockdown day.
Absolutely. The weather has been fantastic over this weekend. Was real kind of, go and visit Blanket Street. We're visiting every single room in the house, and today
Yes,
was, a great day to go and visit Blanket Street.
yes, yes. And what's really crazy is time flies so quickly when you're there. I mean, by the time you figure things out, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're going, "Oh my goodness, I've just wasted the whole day." So it's a fantastic place to be to just chill. Yeah, no, it was good weather today. Good, nice cold weather.
Absolutely. Something we haven't done on the show. And I want to say hello to our audience, first of all, on LinkedIn, and a shout out to Zeph. Zeph has just said hello to us on LinkedIn. Hello to our viewers on YouTube. Hello to everyone out in Periscope and Twitterland. And hello to our fans on YouTube. Um, a warm welcome to each of you. And of course, let's not forget our Facebook fan club. So, welcome everyone. Have come and visit us, tell us, say hello, and tell us what you're doing for lockdown. Viola, one thing we haven't done on for the past 17 days is we've never really talked about why we started the Cappuccino Club. Should we just talk about that for a second?
Absolutely. So the Cappuccino Club started out of sheer desperation on my side. I had just had my son, and I all the conversations I had involved something, around this baby of mine, and what nappies, what barrier cream, all those kind of crazy conversations. And all my friends were saying, "Oh, the great network said, we need to have a cup of coffee, we need to see this boy, etc., etc., etc." And I've literally decided to tell all of them, well, meet me at a specific spot in Cape Town. Um, and to my amazement, I think it was about 60 women pitched up that day. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, I just sent this message out to everybody, and everybody pitched up. And it was this amazing social event. Everybody paid for their own coffees and stuff. And we had the social event. At about 12 o'clock in the morning, I was getting these SMSs and messages from friends saying, "Look, if my husband asks, this party only ended now." Of course, I was home by 7. So it was crazy. And that was the start of this whole Cappuccino Club. That was our inaugural event. And what then happened was we kept meeting on occasion. And, one of my friends would say, that lady that was at that function, do you have her number? Because she's working doing this. And everybody was connecting, and it was fantastic. And so we connected on a few social occasions again. And what then happened was one of my friends, fantastic woman, Hawa Palika, she said to me, she said, "Viola, you actually have to do more with this." And I said to her, "But what do we do?" And she said to me, "So many businesswomen, you've got such an extensive network. Just give it a little bit of legs and see where it goes to." And that's what we did. And then we started meeting and started having all these events, which was fantastic. And then we started the WhatsApp group, which has been amazing. I think we have about 120 women on there now from across South Africa. It's literally just a WhatsApp group where we talk about business. So there's no steaming cups of coffees with kitty cats next to it, no famous quotes, no inspirational quotes, just business information, opportunities, job opportunities, and it was incredibly effective. I know with COVID-19, a lot of the information we're getting through is, I think the president spoke about, when he spoke about the extension, he was talking about the, economic support measures for small businesses. And a lot of our ladies have been sending through all the information they have on that. And so, yeah, that's what started Cappuccino Club. And then you and I had a conversation about how do we take it onto social media. And that's been amazing. And we have had some incredible conversations that I know have changed the way I think about business. And I know There's just been so many positive connections, and I've encouraged the ladies, to share those positive connections. And so there's no hardcore marketing or selling on CuppaChino Club. It's literally just women sharing with other women and supporting other women. So that's really the sort of essence of it.
So it's really about connecting. Now, with COVID-19 and the effects that it had on the business community, one of the things we wanted to say to people is this is the ideal time to pivot. It's the ideal time to reinvent yourself and your business. Just because your physical doors are shut, you need to let your clients know, and you need to actually say so in so many words. You need to let your clients and your prospective clients know that you are operational, that you haven't left the country, that you haven't
Absolutely.
abandoned them. And you can't assume, this is now is not the time to assume that your clients know what you're up to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
physically need to say to them, we're open for business. We can't do
Absolutely.
XYZ, but we are doing ABC.
Absolutely. I think it's essential. And, I always come back to this conversation about how this is the time when you will know who's a business owner and who's an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs are incredibly they're just prone to reinventing themselves. They sort of roll with the punches. They're really good at pivoting. And so I think it's essential, and I think that's really been part of one of the themes that you and I have been discussing with the guests we've had on the show, is to really say, how do we take this time? And I know a lot of businesses are taking this time to re-strategize, to think about, how do we come out of the, starting gates once lockdowns lifted? How do we come out of the starting gates, and just get to it? Others are reimagining their businesses. One of our guests said, that they had a whole session where they sort of reimagined what the business should look like post-lockdown. But I think for business owners, it is absolutely essential. We've been saying it over and over: communicate, communicate, communicate. Marketing is going to become super important. Communicate with your potential clients, communicate with your existing clients, communicate with your internal customers, your staff. Communicate, communicate. So just share as much information as you can. And I love your word pivot, because it requires some kind of agility, and it's moving from one position to another, but very gracefully. And I think that's exactly what needs to happen here. There needs to be this graceful pivoting from one position to the
Transition,
next.
yeah.
And it can be
Yeah.
done. Now's the ideal time to do it, and you still have an additional 14 days. So there's this huge opportunity to really just get it right and get your customers excited about your business post lockdown. Say, this is how we've reimagined it. This is how we're going to do things differently. This is going to be our incentives to you, because we know cash is going to be tight. These are our incentives to our customers, who will continue to stay loyal and continue to procure from us, etc., etc. Whatever the conditions and circumstances of your business's existence are, you really need to start thinking about that. I'm such a fan of that word pivot. It's a good word.
And one of the ways in which you can connect with your clients and your customers and your staff is through video, because video doesn't lie. It
Absolutely.
literally is eyeball to eyeball. People can see you, people can see through you. It's one way that you can open yourself up and open up the curtain to your business and to yourself, because this is the time, if ever there was a time where you needed to connect heart to heart with people, with your clients, with
Yeah,
your staff, now is the time to do that. Now is not the
absolutely.
time to be tone deaf. You really
Yeah.
need to tune into people, and video is a great way to do that. Now I want to ask you, you've never done live video before until we decided to take the Cappuccino Club online, right?
Absolutely.
And so for people out there watching the show now and thinking, heck no, I can't do this, so some of them may be using Zoom, for example, and they do that for their internal meetings. So yes, it's they're seeing people that they normally work with, so it may not be that strange entirely when they use Zoom. But how about taking that to the next level and doing live video? can we talk a little bit about how that experience has been for you? And looking back now, um, you know, tell us how it felt in the beginning and how does it feel now?
So, Brigitte, it was quite interesting for me because I had done, the positions I'd been in. I'd done a lot of corporate videos, and so a lot of sort of talking into a camera and imagining there's an audience and that kind of thing. I'd also done a lot of public speaking. And I think once you are over, I think the greatest fear with this type of communication is the technology itself, not what you're going to say, because most people, most leaders are quite au fait and confident about their product and their services. So as soon as they start talking, the passion sort of kicks in, the knowledge kicks in, the competence kicks in, and you start having, you're quite comfortable. I think, in my opinion, the biggest stumbling block or the biggest concern for people is the actual technology, like, oh, where do I plug it in and what do I click, and how will people see me, will my hair look funny, that kind of thing, so I think it's really the technology. The amazing thing though is that with the technology you could practice, you could practice offline, so you don't necessarily have to do anything as crazy as go live on Facebook or live onto LinkedIn. What you could do is you could actually practice and record yourself doing the messaging initially, and just check out your posturing and check out your behaviors and see, look, one of the things about technology and now being on these conference calls, there was a list of silly things that people initially think of. I don't know if you've seen it, but one of the things people think about is, my goodness, does my neck really look like that in real life? Because it's the first time you actually like have a chance to look at your neck for a while. So, so you can see your neck, and you can get over the shock, and so really just practicing and spending some time just figuring out how the technology works and getting comfortable with it. I mean, that's really what we teach people about public speaking. Go and stand in front of, behind the podium, practice a few times before the audience arrives, feel confident about your material. I do want to say one thing, Brigitte, on that. Some people are not good public speakers. It doesn't matter how passionate they are and how great the technology is. They're just not public speakers. But one of the things we've been saying is that this is the one opportunity where we're in it together, and that your authenticity is actually going to be quite charming. It's your opportunity to just be authentic, to be yourself, and to speak from the heart. This is not one of those polished marketing videos that we're talking about. This is just an opportunity for you to talk to your customer about your fears, your anxieties, your insecurities, but more importantly, to get them excited about the fact that you are thinking about how you could offer this better product and service post-lockdown. Get them excited about it. Get them talking about your business. Get them talking about your attitude towards the lockdown, and how you are reimagining things and pivoting. I think that's really where it needs to be.
And in having that conversation with your clients and prospective clients, there's nothing wrong in you saying to them, this is what I'm thinking post lockdown.
Absolutely.
Would this interest you?
This,
What is it that I can offer you? Have the conversation, because if
yeah,
you're not having the conversation with them, someone else is. And the
correct.
people that are visible, yeah, the people that are visible now, the people that are engaging with their clients and their customers and their staff, are the ones that are going to do well post the lockdown. So if you're not
Absolutely.
doing that, you're not going to be in top of mind.
Absolutely. I think it was Tamsin, one of our guests, that said, she's just doing soft touches with her clients at the moment. No hard selling, just hello, how are you? I'm thinking about you. Just those kinds of messages. And I must be honest with you, Brigitte, I did the exact same thing with my suppliers. I did the same thing with my customers. I just dropped them a little email after that discussion and said, I'm just thinking about you. I know it's a crazy time. And everyone was very tempted to sort of, respond in terms of work and all of that. And that, I sort of steered the conversation away from that and said, I'm actually just trying to touch base with you person to person. And, if there is anything we can talk about in terms of work, that's fine. But, this is where it's at. It's just me touching, just touching base with you, finding out how you're doing, how are you coping. And, even the conversation we had, I think it was about 3 days ago, about just touching base with other people, the people on your phone that you hardly get a chance to talk to, that you're dying to talk to, but you just never find the time, to spending time just sending WhatsApp messages, like touching base. I think it's become such an important part of this lockdown experience to just start talking and discussing things with others.
So if you're watching the show right now and you are considering live video, but you don't know how to get started, type 1 in the comments. Type 1 in the comments if you would like to start using live video, but you need some help. Just type 1 in the comments and we'll get back to you and we can help you get started with live video. Because we understand that it's daunting. At some point, I had my first live video. At some point, Viola had her first live video. But you got to have the first one in order to get past that and to get started and to get going. So type 1 in the comments if you would like some help with getting your own channel started, your channel of communication. So that you can let your clients know that you're open for conversation, let them know what you're up to, what you're planning down the line, and where you are at right now. Let them know what it is you can serve them with today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then let them know what you're going to do post-lockdown. Be very specific about it.
Absolutely. And actually, a lot of the ladies who are part of the CuppaChino Club specialize in communications and marketing and, just messaging. So I know that there are about 3 or 4 of them there. If you, also just are watching the show and you'd love to know a little bit more about how do you go about that, because I know even the messaging sometimes is daunting. Do I say, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I get everybody upset? What if I'm not politically correct enough? There's a lot of the ladies in the CuppaChino Club that actually offer that kind of thing. The other thing I was thinking about, Brigitte, is that this is also a great time for coaching and mentoring. In terms of some of the leadership issues. So, very often we sit back and we think, oh, I'd love to develop that. There's no online course for it. I've been, sort of searching an online course. How do I actually deal with issues around my first board meeting? For example, if you've just been told now, you're CFO, you now need to go into board meetings, or you're the CEO, or you some kind of O, or you've got to do presentations, or you've got to speak publicly, or you've got to sell, any kind of new challenge that you have, that you just don't feel that the online courses that are available are actually cutting it for you. Now's a really good time to actually consider a mentorship and coaching session with those issues now, a sort of one-on-one mentorship and coaching session where you could do a Zoom meeting with somebody who's in the know. And again, there are lots of the ladies in the CuppaChino Club, I know, that were sort of offering those services as well. It is a good time to build your own confidence around these issues. So it becomes very important that you surround yourself with the right people, at least speak to people who are experienced in these fields and are willing to help.
So if you're looking for a coach to help you pivot, or a coach to help you upskill, just type coach in the comments and we'll try and hook you up with the right coach. Because this is what the CuppaChino Club is all about. It's about connecting people with each other. And, we hold back sometimes about talking about what it is that we do, but we're doing ourselves and our circle of influence a disservice if we don't do that.
Correct.
Because, people may think, and it's not even about talking shop all the time, because nobody wants to talk shop all the time. But at some point, you've got to let people know, this is what I do and this is how I can help you. And I think sort of keeping in tone with, or in line with the current situation, you want to let people know, this is what I can help you with.
Yes.
So, and so if you're a coach out there and you know that this is a current pain point for X type of business, you want to put yourself out there and say, well, I know that this is your current pain point, this is your current business, and this is how I can help you. Because that is what people are looking for right now. People are looking for help. They're looking for ways to pivot, or even ideas to pivot. So
Absolutely. And sometimes they have the idea, Brigitte, they just really need to surround themselves with people who are going to be, basically help them assess and analyze whether or not it is a good idea. The other thing that we were chatting about sort of before the show was the whole idea of the current business that you do have. How do you make it, are there opportunities for you to actually, um, you know, change the way you do things, change the service offering, product offering. Um, you've got a factory that might be making handbags. Is there an opportunity now for you to change to be making protective gear, to be making masks? You might need information on that kind of issue as well. Those are the kinds of things that I'm sure the CuppaChino Club could help with. And of course, if any of you would like to join, any of the ladies out there who are part of our audience would like to join the WhatsApp group, please let me know. We could also add you to that WhatsApp group where there's sort of immediate responses to any kind of business need and any kind of sort of support that you need. I mean, it was funny in the first few weeks that the CuppaChino Club's WhatsApp group was up and running. Somebody was selling a car. She desperately needed cash, and so she was selling a car. We all ended up, sort of speaking to spouses, husbands, scallums, and the guy on the side to say to is anybody interested in buying a car? Is this a good deal, etc., etc. So just have if there is anybody that would like to join the WhatsApp group as well, any of the ladies would like to join the WhatsApp group, we certainly would love to welcome you there. So yeah, things are moving along swiftly in South Africa. I'm quite excited to see, just in terms of the next few days, Brigitte, where the testing stations will come up. I know that the president spoke quite highly about the fact that we need to up the number of tests that are being done. I know that I'm quite excited to see how that would work, because I think that's going to give us a better idea of our levels
of
of
the numbers,
infection,
yeah.
give us a better idea on the numbers. You and I were having a conversation. There hasn't been a steep increase in the number of reported cases from yesterday to today. I think today we're on 2025 reported cases. I would also, I'm also keeping an eye on the recoveries, because it's always nice to see that recovery number increasing as well. And I know we're over 400 recoveries in South Africa at the moment.
Which
So
is a good number.
absolutely, absolutely. It's a number we're forgetting. We get caught up in the number of deaths, and just one of the things we do want to do is convey our sympathies, our deepest condolences to all of the people who have lost loved ones to COVID-19. It must be such a terrible time to have to say goodbye to somebody when you have all these restrictions around what you can say and what you can't say, and what you can do and who you can invite, and in the midst of all your mourning, having to fill in all these additional forms and provide all this additional information about who can come and who can't come. And I just think it must be such a stressful time to say goodbye to a loved one who may not even have died from COVID-19. Just somebody passing away of natural causes or any other kind of health issues. It's just sad. It's a very sad time for people who are saying goodbye to loved ones. And I just have been thinking a lot about that today as well, because someone we're quite close to, their father, who's quite old, is on just not doing well in hospital, and the concerns that she has around the fact that they may have to bury him during this period, and how stressful that is. So we are aware of you, and we're thinking about you, and we definitely sending our thoughts and prayers to you as well at this time. It's not easy.
It is very challenging, and it's a good thing that you raised that. In fact, I attended a memorial service for a dear friend's son the other day on Zoom, and there were almost 400 people in attendance on the Zoom call for the memorial service, which was, to me, amazing support for the bereaved mom. So it's not our first choice to show our support.
Correct.
I think we always want to show support in person, but you know, we can be thankful that we live in a time where we can embrace technology, you know, and to have 400 people in a Zoom room to support someone that's grieving, I think was wonderful, you know.
Yeah.
And it is a challenging time to lose someone, as you absolutely rightly said. So again, I think, you know, in closing, we want to remind everyone that it's extremely important that we take the lockdown seriously. I was watching a live stream by Aidan Thomas, and he was doing a drive through the Cape Flats. And you know, he said even though most of the businesses were closed, when he just driving through the communities, there was still too much of an observation or sense that people didn't quite get the fact that lockdown means stay in your house. You know, he did reiterate how difficult it is for people who live in tiny homes in close proximity, especially the young ones, especially the children. It's very, very difficult for them. And you know, we want to be mindful of the challenges of some of our communities. But still, you know, we don't want to neglect to urge them to take this lockdown seriously, because people are still congregating together, you know, on the street corners. They're still walking together in large groups. And, you know, for this lockdown to be successful, we need to stay behind closed doors. We need to distance ourselves socially. I didn't see people walking around with masks in, you know, when he was doing his drive through.
Yeah.
So again, one needs to be extremely, extremely careful, and also be careful of misinformation, disinformation, and we need to know that it's a crime to spread fake news about the coronavirus in South Africa. You can find yourself getting locked up, or getting a fine, but either way, you'll be in hot water if you share
Yeah.
fake news about the coronavirus.
Yeah. So our Minister of Health has now confirmed that he's wanting everybody to wear masks. I know that there was a whole discussion around it, and I think the discussion was really around the fact that people were buying these really fancy masks, and there was a concern that the supply would run out for our frontline healthcare workers. But there have been so many amazing videos and shares on just how to make your own sort of material face mask, and I think lots of people are just sort of doing a DIY thing, understanding exactly that they have to wear that. So I think it's really about us being safe. I've been hearing a lot of comments about this lockdown being the lockdown is for the privileged who have all these distractions while they sit in their homes. But I do want to stress to people who are in crowded situations that, if you do become infected, if you are reported as infected, everybody you've been with has now got to be contacted, and everybody that you've been with has got to be tested. So it's a huge strain on resources because you've been irresponsible in your behavior. It's a huge strain on everybody, and the resources that could have been used for other things are now being used because you decided that you were going to sort of just not take this thing seriously and not be responsible. So there are consequences once you become infected. Everybody that you've been with has got to be tested. So I think it's just about being responsible. Use your head and be responsible. That's, I think, where we're at, especially in situations where we don't really have the privilege of large homes and there's lots of people in very small spaces. Just be responsible, I guess, is what people are asking.
And use, a mask. You don't even need a sewing machine. There's so many videos on YouTube where you can make one out of a scarf, without needing to stitch or sew. There are ways of doing it, but again, use it responsibly. Make sure that it's a safe kind of fabric that you're using. All the information's on YouTube. Go and Google it. You'll find the
Yeah.
information there. Just do not go and buy the medical masks. Please leave those for our
Yes.
frontliners, as Viola said. Don't buy the medical masks. So
Yeah.
with that, we want to wish you a great afternoon and evening, and
Thanks,
we'll see you
everyone.
back again tomorrow.
Yes, and Brigitte, just remind us, number one, Just message us, number one, if you need some help with your new, if you decide to go to on this new journey in terms of videos and being able to communicate live with your clients. And then there was another one, and that was coaching and mentorship. If you feel that you do want us to just hook you up with one of the ladies who are part of the CuppaChino Club around mentorship and coaching, feel free to just type one of those words into the comments, and we'll definitely be in touch with you. And of course, if there are any ladies who'd love to join our WhatsApp group where there's a lot of information shared and more in real time, please feel free to just let us know, and we'll be in touch with you and take the conversation offline so we can get your information in a more private space, I guess. Thank you so much for a lovely conversation today. It was lovely. Thank you so much, Brigetti.
Likewise, and I think before I'm going to say goodbye, I want to also remind the ladies that apart from the WhatsApp group for the CuppaChino Club, you can also connect with us on Facebook. There's a Facebook group for the CuppaChino Club, and there's also a group on LinkedIn and a page on LinkedIn called CuppaChino Club. So there are different social media channels where you can reach out to us. So connect with us and have a great evening.
And
From me,
it's
Brigitte Mbanda.
And just on the spelling, it's CuppaChino, not cappuccino. So it's cup as in CUP. So make sure you get the spelling right. Otherwise, you won't find us. Thanks so much, and have a lovely evening, everybody. Brigitte, have a lovely evening. God bless.
Thank you, and you too. The spelling is on top. If you just look on top above us, you can see the spelling for the CuppaChino Club. Take care, everyone. Have a great evening or afternoon further. Bye.